Okay, guilty movie pleasure fans, I have a confession to make. I've committed a guilty movie sin because I have never seen what is now one of my new favorite cult classic movies. Because today we are remedying this and talking, what the hell is that? Tremors!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Guilty Movie Pleasure.
Right, yeah, all right. That's what we call an intro that I just make up on the spot. Whew, that was something.
I thought you were going to transition into what the movie title was, but you added a couple extra words in there.
I always
because you were because today we're covering, and then you said something else, but I thought you were going to say Tremors, and I was ready to do the shake weight dance.
Yeah, and then I like to just surprise you. Hey, everybody, we're back finally. I think it's been 3 weeks?
3 years?
3 years. 3 years. One of the two.
Yeah.
4 years. Mm-hmm. I'm your host, Ben Begley, and with me as always...
Jesse McIntosh.
Yeah, we're back. We've had some house issues, some audition stuff, some life stuff, and...
It's been a wacky couple weeks.
It's been a wacky... While you guys were waiting for us to come back, we've been having a doozy of a time.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can, lightly.
Okay.
Lightly.
Steve, can you hear me?
We're
okay. I just can't hear me. So okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Just want to make sure that we're not podcasting out like this. Hey guys, and then all right, that's good, Jesse. I like that joke.
It would be a lot of people would like that better, I think.
So this has been a hotly requested movie, and before anybody throws a troll fit, I realize this movie's 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's fantastic.
It won 5 Oscars. So we get it.
But so did Green Book. So anyways, this movie to me is fantastic, and I don't feel guilty liking it at all. It's been requested several times by people over the last 2 years. I've had a ton of fans request this movie, and somehow I thought I had maybe seen bits of it, but it came out in... I should know this already. It came out... What's that? 1990. Okay, so I was 8 years old. And I think this is around the time where my parents would have seen the trailer for this and thought, that's too violent for Ben or something at 8. It's a little violent of a movie for an 8-year-old.
Sure.
Yet Gremlins I watched 1,000 times, and Phoebe Cates' dad dies in a chimney and they smell his flesh burning. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
But I feel like I missed out on so much not having seen this, because from minute one until the very end, it's nonstop fun creature effects and practical effects and gore and ridiculous things like that and action sequences. And the characters are super likable. I loved Val and Earl from the minute they were on screen. I thought they were a great bromance. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. There's pretty much nothing I want to make fun of in this movie because I loved it. And I loved Kevin Bacon's Southern accent. Hey, I'm Kevin Bacon, man.
Yeah.
I loved it. This is
a lot of Southern accent in Perfection, Nevada.
Nevada, yeah.
Yeah?
Was it Perfection?
I think so.
Nevada?
Believe so.
We'll figure it out. And it has, a little known fact. I auditioned for Tremors 5 or 4, whichever one Jamie Kennedy plays Michael Gross's son. Mm-hmm. He beat me out for it. I guess people know who Jamie Kennedy is more than me.
A few people, yeah.
A few million.
Listen,
people.
I know you. I know you better than Jamie Kennedy, but I'm also a big Jamie Kennedy fan.
Yeah, so I've actually worked with him. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
So it's all right. Jesse, what do you think of it, man? You also were a Tremors virgin as I pull out an eyelash from my eye that was stabbing me.
Good.
For the listeners.
That's the sacrifice that we make that we usually don't call out on the show, but we do sacrifice an eyelash every single show for you guys.
I want to know what clip you have pulled up here. We'll get to that. But Jesse, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a great time with this movie.
Did you know, what did you know about it? I knew the sand and then the infamous zoom in shot of Kevin Bacon's wide eyes. It's all I knew. The thing that I tweeted out.
Yeah, I mean, I really only knew what you texted me, that it was about alien worms or alien slugs.
Which I don't even know if that...
I love the fact that they never...
I don't know. I like that they never cleared it.
I do too, because there was a lot of questions... And
I took that sound clip for you because that's your favorite part of every one of these kind of movies where they're like, wait, maybe it's this.
And if they had even tried, then they would have spent probably 15 minutes doing it.
This is a lean movie.
Yeah.
96 minutes, just boom.
Yeah. They really made the right call here not to have a an expert in slugs come by and be like, well, here's the reason that this slug is like the closest thing they had was the woman who was like
Rhonda, the geologist.
She was like they're studying earthquakes, which is not even related in any way to slugs.
No.
So they didn't have to like go to her for any reason to be like,
but she knows a lot of fossils too.
I mean,
because she was sure that these weren't in any of the fossil records.
Yeah, they don't have bones, I don't think. Right? Slugs don't have bones?
I guess these wouldn't have bones.
Yeah, just teeth.
Just teeth and those cool little things that move all at the same time.
Sure.
Which they know somehow.
Yeah.
I love it. I love how they don't waste time. They're just like, graboids. Is that what they... Oh, yeah. Hashtag graboids.
Nice.
That's actually Trump's 2020 slogan.
It's good that he already has one.
Graboids. Just graboids them by the, Anyways, but so you had a good time with it. You enjoyed it?
Yes.
The creature effects... That's why I'm hesitant. A few people on Twitter were saying that 2 is great because Michael Gross, a.k.a. Bert, gets to really shine in that. And I thought Bert was awesome. I could have used more Bert. He and Reba McEntire, Bert and Heather were super fun in their awesome rec room with a wall of every single gun. It's good they don't have kids because they don't have a safe. There's no safe or anything to keep those guns out of people's hands.
This is canon. They had kids and they... all perish in a horrific gun accident. That's true. That's why they didn't include it in the movie, because that is a true fact.
That's so messed up. Why did I laugh so hard?
Because that's fact.
God.
But they still love their guns.
Hashtag graboids.
That was actually one of my favorite scenes, I think, was just
it's the best.
Epic shootout of just them and the...
It's the greatest. Especially the comedic reveal of like, they're firing a few, and then in a wide shot, it pans over to just a wall of guns.
Yeah.
That aren't even, like I said, not even locked up. They're just sitting there on display like you would your garden tools.
And then just the one gun behind a case.
Because that one's the elephant gun.
Yeah.
Which at first, because I don't know guns, and my brother-in-law would have made fun of me, I called it the mega shotgun.
Yep.
I said, it's a mega... I know that there's not a mega shotgun.
No,
but I thought it was a made-up gun for this movie.
That's the name of it. It is a mega shotgun. They're idiots for calling it an elephant gun.
I mean, come on. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Mega shotguns have been outlawed since 1992.
Everybody knows that.
So, let's get into this. Let's do the plot in under 3 minutes and just have some fun, because this movie's a blast. And I kind of want to watch all... the next 2. Anyway, so let's do this. You ready in the booth, Steve?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm excited.
Here we go. In. Oh, hang on.
Start off. You want me to start off?
1 second now. All right, 3.
All right.
2.
We should rock paper scissors.
1.
Started it off.
Go.
All right, so we start off the movie with Val and Bert, and they're doing all these odd jobs. They're handyman, but he feels more like they're just kind of doing junk work and not really forward thinking. And they have like a little bit of banter back and forth, and then they come across the new grad student. And Kevin Bacon's super stoked because it's definitely a female, and apparently there's not a lot of women around these parts. And you see the town, there's like 10 people in it. So he swerves off. He's like, "You will be blonde, blah 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 blah," and it's this adorable scientist instead. And at first he's like, "Man, this isn't great. I don't like this." And then there's some rumblings. There's some weird earthquakes that have been happening. And they go off and we meet the townsfolk at the diner, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, at the diner / convenience store / everything. And then they realize that the town drunk is up in a tower, and they find him, and he's died of thirst. So they're like, "What happened here?" And then what else happens? The sheep.
And then they come back around town, and like the guy, the farmer, who I'm not sure what he was farming in the middle of the desert.
He's a sheep farmer.
He's a sheep, but he was like hoeing.
Oh, he was hoeing dirt.
Yeah, he was growing dirt.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, so they find his dead body with like the hat over his face.
What the hell's
going on here? So they get back to town, and then
the old couple gets brutally eaten.
Yeah. But that's later, because then he's like, we got to go to whatever Bixby.
Yeah.
They got to go there to get police, I guess, to get help. So they're on their way there, and the rocks are on the road, and then the
jackhammer dude with
so then the thing grabs onto their car, and then they drag the thing back, and they're like, "What is this?"
Oh God, minute 30. Okay, they're like, "What is this?" And then there's these old people, this old couple that's out there in the middle of the desert at night, and the guy gets sucked in, and then the woman gets sucked in the car, and then they go and they look, and Val and Earl find them, dust it off, and realize the car is under there. They get attacked again. They run off. They find out that the construction workers are dead too. They go back to town.
The thing follows him.
They follow him.
Yeah,
and they run into
kills itself on the rock.
Yeah. Well, they run into Rhonda. and they're stuck on the rocks first, and they have to pole vault from rock to rock, and then they run to the like ravine or whatever it is, the waterway, and they the graboid kills itself on the rock, and then they go back to town, and all the graboids start to like go underneath all the houses, and they're all up on the roofs hiding, and the shop owner gets killed.
They kill one with the elephant gun.
Yeah.
And then the shop owner gets killed, and then they're on the houses, and they're like, we got to make a break for the tractor. They run and get the tractor.
Were they distracted with the bombs?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they all make it. They're trying to go up on the mountain, but then the thing puts them in a trap, and then they kill one with the bombs.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Bacon has the great idea that he's gonna make a run for it, and so he does, and he
lights the bomb, and it makes it jump. It makes it fall off the cliff and splat.
Yeah.
So it makes the other one commit suicide, and then he kisses Rhonda because now he realizes smart, cute science girls are better than blonde bimbos. That's it. Look at that.
Yeah.
Because that one guy really loves when I do fake clubbing sounds. That one guy.
That one guy speaks for everybody. That one guy, we've elected him our leader, and he
is our leader.
That's right. He lets you know what we like.
So let's get into this. The first scene, I love the banter between Val and Earl, Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon. Valentine is Kevin Bacon and Earl is Fred Ward, and just how they have this kind of like brotherly teasing each other. You know, immediately you get their chemistry, you get that they're long-time friends, and then when they when Kevin Bacon swerves off the road to see who this new girl is, kind of reminded me of Akron, Ohio a little bit, when it's like, oh, there's a new girl here. I mean, granted, Akron, Ohio, where I grew up, was much larger than Perfection.
Is that what it's called? I know it's like something fake.
It's called Perfection. I think it's Nevada. Yeah. Let's play clip number 1, Valentine's List.
You will have long blonde hair, big green eyes, world-class breasts, ass that won't quit, and legs that go all the way up.
So let's break this down.
Sure.
Long blonde hair.
Sure. Easy.
Big green eyes. Easy.
Yeah.
World-class breasts.
World class.
I
now
mean,
we're like stepping our game up.
I get, like, what defines world-class? I guess we'll let him pass.
Sure.
An ass that just won't quit. So
a persistent ass.
A persistent ass. And legs that go all the way up.
To what?
Exactly. Don't all legs go all the way up?
Legs, for the most part, go from the ground to the ass.
Because technically, if the ass doesn't quit, where does the ass end and the legs begin?
These are questions that he needed to have asked himself
before he made this
list, because there's a lot of contradiction here.
Because right now, it's this kind of almost like I'm thinking of like this multi-dimensional world where the ass doesn't stop and the legs go all the way up, and it's just like it's too much existing in the same plane.
Yeah, and that's probably not something that, honestly, like, I'm not trying to shame the person that he's describing, but you wouldn't be attracted to this person, I don't think.
Just be 2 legs.
I don't think
and
you
an ass.
would. Yeah.
Just
like, maybe he is.
I love how much we unnecessarily broke down.
God bless him.
Clearly.
You know, maybe he has a type. Maybe that was the problem. Like, she was too normal of a person.
And I love how they introduce her too, because they introduce her as dopey as possible, because she's a cute girl, and they introduce her with like this giant slab of sunscreen that she like forgot she put on that much just there on her nose.
Yeah.
So she's adorable. I really like this actress.
She's never again wearing sunscreen.
Nope, just that one time.
Yeah.
Because it was embarrassing.
I mean, once you encounter men, you stop having regard for whether or not you're going to get sunburned.
In 1990.
Yeah, it's just like, that does it for me. Like, as soon as I encounter just a guy in a truck, I'm like, damn, I shouldn't be worried about.
I should not be worried about sunburns. Nope. That man will protect me from sunburns.
Especially not if I'm going to be out in the desert all day long looking at
earthquakes in your seismologist chart. So we go back, we get introduced to the town.
Well, she also, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want one more thing on her.
Please, about the ass that won't quit?
No, about her specifically, is that she's like, these like crazy seismic readings, but no one's been like, did you feel that?
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, weird readings. But the readings you should be able to feel if there are readings.
But if they were way out of town, because they were still they hadn't made it to town yet, and it was only readings that were in very specific pockets.
I guess.
I know. I don't guess, Jesse.
Listen,
I never guess.
Listen, when there's an earthquake up in like Pasadena, down at my house, we still feel a little bit of it. You get that aftershock.
I would argue that these are seismic abnormalities, not earthquakes.
Okay. So then that's what we should be focusing on.
And that earthquake had an ass that won't quit.
The earthquake wouldn't quit. For sure.
So we get introduced to Bert and the rest of the townsfolk, and Melvin is a real a-hole.
Yep.
I forget the daughter's name, but she likes the pogo stick. They already set up these things that you know. I love that they're setting up things where you're like, that's going to pay off later. Melvin's a dick. Something's going to happen to him. Bert already establishes that he's a conspiracy nut and that the government's doing all this stuff and monitoring us and blah, blah, blah. And so you know he's going to have some kind of bunker. You know the pogo stick's going to come in and she's going to be in peril. You know that the super loud refrigerator they have is going to have a callback at some point. And in fact, that's what clip number 2 is, where it goes off and the shop owner's like, hey, can you fix this? And Kevin Bacon describes Fred Ward's work philosophy.
Hey guys, listen, herring going out. What do you think?
Could be.
Catch you later, Chang. We gotta schedule the key.
Oh, yeah. See, we plan ahead. That way we don't do anything right now. Oh, explain it to me.
I think that's such a great way for him to dig on Earl after their banter about how Kevin Bacon's character only thinks in the moment and getting jobs right now. And also, you could blame Earl for the shop owner's death later on, because if they had just fixed it then, you know.
They didn't. Well, they planned ahead, but they didn't plan ahead for the right thing.
They did not for underground graboids.
You have to always be thinking.
Always.
How can I best prepare for underground graboids?
I mean, but even Bert, as we have in a sound clip later that I won't get to yet, but he prepared for everything.
Yep.
But this. You know, it's really, there's certain things, I guess this movie is actually a teaching lesson for all of us.
Sure.
That you can prepare all you want, but the graboids are going to get you.
Listen, when you make plans, that's when God laughs. I think that's the saying.
It's the only time he has a sense of humor.
It's
really
the
rest of the time he's just stone cold.
He's trying to understand. Yeah. What are you guys doing?
What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Why are you doing that?
Strange tangent.
That's not what I wanted.
That's not what I want. Why? What happened?
Everything was fine.
Everything was great, and you ruined it. So Earl and Val, the icing on the cake, or the nail in the coffin for why they leave, is they're fixing Melvin's septic tank.
Yep.
And they literally get covered in crap.
Yep.
So they get crapped on by this town. And on their way out, they run into they're driving out. They have all their stuff loaded up in the truck. They run into the town drunk who's up on this giant electrical tower. Mm-hmm. Val climbs up there. Dude's dead from thirst. And at first I was like, oh man, do the worms like suck out the water from you because they're dehydrated in the desert? And then I thought that would play in later when the water falls on them. I thought they were looking that it was going to be like they're sucking out the water and discarding the corpse. But then I was like, wait, how did he get up there? So that was me just being dumb.
I mean, they did spit a lot of things out of the ground.
They did. They spit those little tentacle things. So I just think they're hungry.
The generator, remember?
Yeah, well, that's because it was all inanimate objects that they couldn't eat. They needed organic life forms.
So here's
metal.
Here's part of what we were talking about earlier, where they never ever went into what was going on with these things or what they were or anything like that. No. I think they're just psychopaths, right? Like, it's unclear.
I think they're just hungry.
Maybe why would they be in a place then where there are only 8 people? They should go to a city.
Maybe in Tremors 2 they do.
Let us know.
Maybe this is like, the Meg, where they were released from underneath somewhere deep down from an earthquake or something.
Could be.
Or it's like they say later on, maybe it was an alien asteroid that landed with them in it, and they're just stranded out here in the desert, and they can't go too far because then they'll die of starvation. So they got to stock up like squirrels or chipmunks.
They definitely would. Like, if they ate everyone in perfection, then they would just die. And it's going to happen soon. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I think
maybe they're storing up to make the long trek to Bixby or Billingsworth or whatever it is.
Any of those. They got to get somewhere.
Jacob W. Billingsworth.
They need to go somewhere where
I think that's what it is. I think they're storing up energy for the marathon.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that. I'm worried about them.
I'm worried about the graboids.
Yeah.
As we all should be.
Yeah. Their health and safety comes first.
Then the farmer sequence is awesome too, where he gets taken under, and then you don't get to see the dirt farmer. Which, hey, farming dirt is important.
It is
to our American economy.
Everyone needs dirt.
All right.
Yeah.
Bring back dirt farmer jobs. Okay. So then they find the hat on the ground. The sheep are all torn up, and there's just sheep gore everywhere.
Oh, yeah, they didn't eat the sheep. Why didn't they eat the sheep?
They ate them, but I think they like spit out the fur is what I got.
All right.
I'm just making
They
shit
didn't
up
eat
now.
the farmer's face either. There's a lot of like.
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't be fun to just find a hat.
No, that was great. That moment where they pulled the hat up and the face was
That's
there.
so good. It's just a dead, decapitated
It was
head.
great. It was just like a very confusing. What do they want out of this?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and I know that you made the case for hunger and strength.
They're just.
I'm pretty sure they're psychopaths.
Okay.
And
I can
they're
buy
just
that,
like,
too.
yeah, they're
Just murder.
They're just wanting to murder.
Murder
I think
lust.
that's what they're doing.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Can we play clip number 3? This is when Kevin Bacon discovers the dirt farmer's decapitated head under his hat. No. I'll give you.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell's going on? I mean, what the hell is going on?
It's so good. It's so good.
That's a good question. Both times he asks.
See, I feel like I overreact to things because I reacted the same way when we found water coming in from the rain in our floorboards and they were mushy, and I scared the crap out of my daughter, who's only 2, because my wife saw it and she was kind of underplaying it, and I just freaked out. It played out exactly like this, actually. She was like, Jesus, and I was like,
What's going on? I mean, what the hell is going on?
and then Daisy started crying, and I was like, I'm sorry, honey. Daddy is just really tired of having to fix things in the house.
Sure,
And she
sure.
goes, we watch Coco Elmo, because that's what she calls Sesame Street, is Coco Elmo.
Coco Elmo?
She calls Cookie Monster Coco.
Listen, that's not the name of it.
She'll have to...
Teach her.
I'll have to dash those dreams someday that it's not called
It's not
Coco
called
Elmo.
Coco Elmo.
All right.
How you should do it is just give her the remote and be like, why don't you put on Coco Elmo?
when are you gonna find it?
Why don't you find it?
She actually does.
Oh, well,
She selects Sesame Street in specific episodes, and it's frightening.
how about that?
At 2. And I'm like, no, you're not supposed to do
You
this.
have a savant daughter.
How do you explain, just sidebar, how do you explain to a kid now, like when we were growing up, cartoons were on specific times.
Yeah.
Certain songs played on the radio specific times, unless you owned the cassette when I was a kid. And now, Daisy goes to Alexa and goes, Alexa, play Frozen. And then Frozen just plays in my house.
Yeah.
All day. How do I tell her, yes, Alexa can play it, but mommy and daddy are going insane?
I think just phrase it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. She understands the nuances of mental clarity and like.
Yeah. Also, the good news is that the government is pretty sure that you're obsessed with Frozen. So, like, you've been able to sort of hide your true interests.
Yeah, there we go. Just throw in something weird every once in a while just to see. Okay. I love the title of this next sound clip. Then the next big thing that happens is, they come across the rocks. The jackhammer kill is so good, where the construction worker is jackhammering away, and then the blood just starts oozing out from underneath, and you hear the graboid squeal. And then the jackhammer just gets yanked off and then spit up. And then he gets wrapped around and dragged off. And that whole sequence is so good, where they come back and it's just brain bits in the helmet.
Yeah.
Then the poor older couple, they're just trying to enjoy the stars and renovate, like me.
Yeah.
Just trying to renovate their place.
That's all they want to do.
And they're like, the power went out. The generator disappeared or was sucked into the ground. And then it's kind of a brutal scene where the old dude is screaming and his wife is crying as he's just yanked in and eaten alive.
She had a much better grasp of the situation than I would have. Like, she grabbed that piece of wood to keep him up.
I mean, Renee and I, when earthquakes happen, we just kind of stop and stare at each other like, is this a plane or what's happening?
Right.
What should we do?
Right.
And she was ready.
She was ready. She knew what to do.
I think because people in perfection are used to like more harrowing lifestyles. We're soft in the city.
That's clearly what it is. We have Alexas. They did not have that.
They did not.
All they knew how to do was save each other's lives.
Which is kind of more useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
much
I'd rather have a Bert nearby than a me.
In certain situations. Yeah.
Let's say
Bert could get old in 95% of the
Let's
situations.
say I would rather have a Bert nearby if the apocalypse happened
Most
than
definitely.
in daily life.
Most
I'd like to
definitely.
know that there's a Bert within like a 10-mile radius of me.
I would like to know that there's a Bert nearby and that Bert likes me and never have to deal with Bert. That's what I want.
Yeah, where like you go to like maybe his barbecue once a year. Like he has one extended weekend barbecue on a Monday.
Yeah, and you like go to it and you're like, hey, what's up, Bert? I'm like, I had a thing
the
that
kid's
like,
sick.
Oh boy, and I gotta get out of here. But it's so good seeing you,
Please
Bert.
don't murder me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that makes
Here's
sense.
where I live if you need to find me.
So then after that, they realize that the only way to get out, because there's no phones, they can't get out by car, they horseback ride, and the horses get spooked. And then that's when Val and Earl discover these creatures, the graboids or tremors, whatever you want to call them, running under the dirt. And they hop up on a rock and they find Rhonda. And then I love how awesome Kevin Bacon's reaction is when Rhonda pole vaults over to the other rock. And he's just like, I didn't know women could be that awesome, because he's used to like just kind of like this one type of like, hi, I'm blonde and I got an ass that won't quit.
Listen, for all intents and purposes,
that ass apparently did quit because it couldn't pole vault. He's
quit.
Never seen an ass pole vault before.
As far as I know, it's only one woman. It's not like
it is.
I mean,
her name's like something Tammy Lynn Dexter.
Yeah, something like that. They allude to the fact that he has a type, but like
it's one woman, and he has several stalkery.
He's got a bunch of photos of her on his truck, and if she's
on his visor.
Yeah. If she's not still living in perfection, like what happened to her? Where'd she go?
I've been hung up on women before years ago, and maybe I kept like one photo of us or something, but like to have it on your visor that like every time that the sun's in my eyes, my ex, that just seems like you're just opening a wound every time.
Well, it's on the outside of the visor, so like she's exposed to the sun when the sun's up. Do you know what I mean? Like his visor was up.
Yeah, no. When he flips it down though, he can see her.
Is that
yeah? So
okay.
because then when he flips it down, he takes it off at the end.
All right,
let's just talk about the visor for 40 minutes.
I have a lot of thoughts about the visor. So you were saying that you had a photograph of. Like you would hold on to a photograph. But like I wouldn't display it in public. Like I wouldn't make a shirt of it
or have it sewn into your jacket every once in a while.
Yeah, like that. He needs an intervention at this point,
and he gets one.
He gets kinda
via Rhonda, who rocks his world with her brain and not her legs that go all the way up.
she does have.
How do you have room for brains if your legs go all the way up?
Short legs.
So. They find the geologist girl. They end up making a run for it and going into the concrete basin or riverbed, whatever the hell it is. Aqueduct. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And the creature slams into it, and it's an awesome, fun monster gore moment where it crashes through, and they just make sure to really linger on these great shots of just ooze and goo from the creature, which I love about movies like this. I love practical effects. The only thing that could turn me off from further sequels to this more than anything would be if they CGI the Tremors eventually, because that's super boring to me. I love the effects of these practical creatures and the tangibility of them being real. But so when Val when Earl and Rhonda are examining it, Val finds the other end of the creature. Let's play clip number 4.
Hey, check this out! I found the ass end!
I found the ass end! Kevin Bacon's so funny in this.
Yeah.
He's so great.
And if anyone's gonna find the ass end, I'm glad it was the guy who's looking for an ass that don't quit.
Does the graboid's ass quit?
This one's
this
one
definitely quit.
Yeah.
I love that clip. I think it's super funny. They realize there's 3 more of these things because Rhonda's super smart and she's been tracking these not earthquakes, but seismological
events,
abnormalities. And she realizes that they've happened in small bursts all over. So she's counting that there's 3 more of these.
So this is great because she, in a real life situation where there are graboids under the earth, someone would probably look at the data and say there are at least 3 more.
Yeah.
But we need to know for the movie that there are only 3 more.
Yep.
So she says exactly. But yeah, there's no way, like they could have, like 2 of them could have been running in a pack or something.
Yeah.
Like you don't know. Yeah. You don't know what these things are.
Or they could have, the other ones are just hiding in a burrow somewhere.
Yeah, they're sleeping.
All right, you guys.
They go out one at a time.
Tag, you're it.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
There could be.
That's why we gotta watch part 2.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows what happens?
Who knows?
I'm so intrigued. I did watch Critters 2 after we watched Critters 1.
Yeah. And
it was great. Critters 2 is awesome. So maybe
is Tremors 2 called Tremors 2 Pig in the City? Is that what it's called?
I think so. Yep.
Okay. I have seen that.
It's about a talking pig.
Yeah.
They smash up genres.
It's
very
important
strange. Very strange. Let's play this clip. This is where they're stuck on the rocks. Oh, we're going back in time a little bit because this is before the monster commits rockicide. I just made that up. And that was terrible. And this is when they're theorizing what these creatures could be while they're stranded on this giant rock, because they've realized that rocks are the only thing they can't penetrate. They can't get through. Mm-hmm. So let's play it.
I got it. They're mutations caused by radiation. Or no. Government built them.
I love it.
Big surprise for the Russians.
Well, there's nothing like them in the fossil
surprise.
record.
They're not in
I'm
Russia.
sure. Okay, so they predate the fossil record. Well, that'd make them a couple of billion years old. And we've just never seen one till now.
But why?
Right.
I vote for outer space.
Yeah, I do too.
No way these are local boys.
I vote for outer space.
I really don't know what to think, to be honest.
I think of all of those, they're either subterranean creatures that were so deep down in the Earth's core that maybe with global warming or something, that the Earth's core has gotten too hot and they've started to come up to the top.
Possibly.
That's probably the most likely scenario.
Or they're like, they just have a much longer life cycle and they're like, they have been hibernating for longer than
I think
records.
they already existed here. I think aliens, but
They
who
had
knows?
to have been, because otherwise we would have found like an insertion point, you know,
Yeah.
because they're underground. We would have found like a big hole that the ship
Yeah,
dug or whatever.
that's right. All right, we
Yeah.
solved it.
We
don't even need to watch the rest of them. We solved it.
are detectives.
We are detectives.
Law and Order Tremors.
Boom, 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 or whatever the thing is.
Is that, am I going to have to pay for that?
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. So now let's go back to after they escape. After the one dies, they go back to town to warn everybody. The creatures are now descending upon the town. Mindy's pogo sticking away, and they realize that these creatures don't have eyes. They hear their seismic movement, so they hear sound, and they hear the vibrations of sound. So then they all have to be really quiet, and there's this, and every time I think it's going to stop down for like a 30-minute period and get kind of boring, it never does. It just keeps moving.
Yeah.
These graboids won't quit, because they, like, every single place they go, they're in the shop, they're in the restaurant, they think they're safe, and then the fridge goes off, and they all jump on it to unplug it, and the poor shop owner, who I believe is the guy who sells the gremlin in Gremlins, maybe not.
Ooh, so he had it coming.
Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, he did unleash gremlins a bunch.
Yeah.
But he gets sucked down and eaten. It's really sad and a bummer, because everybody else gets to survive. Why they got to kill the shop owner, man? You know. But there's all kinds of great sequences where the Tremors are coming up underneath the floorboards. They get separated, where Bert and Heather return, and they're back at their house with all their guns. Mindy and her mom are on top of their house. Rhonda's on top of the water tower. Val and Earl and a few of the other survivors are up on top of the store. And the Tremors are now trying to loosen up the foundation underneath the house to knock it over, which we find out from the poor, I think it's Melvin's dad, that's on top of the trailer. The trailer gets tipped over and he gets eaten.
Yeah.
It's so sad but hilarious. It's a great scene.
It's too bad.
Too bad for that guy.
He did his best.
He seemed like
he lived a long life.
He did.
I don't know.
Sort of.
Yeah. There's like a small amount of inconsistency as far as like what the graboids, how big of a sound you have to make for them to react. You just had a big reaction.
Sorry, I just forgot about the awesome sequence where Rhonda gets trapped up in the barbed wire fence.
Oh, yes.
And she's getting dragged by it.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty tense moment.
Sure.
You know, there was a few moments that were like Jurassic Park-ish, you know, like or Jaws, I would say. Like, where the diner owner gets killed, it's very similar to when Jaws attacks the boat and he gets eaten. I thought there were some really great creature moments in here, and but the barbed wire scene was really tense, and I was just like, that's gonna hurt so bad.
I know.
Oh!
There were a couple even when they were just putting the barbed wire up,
Barbed wire just freaked.
He pricked himself. I was like,
Yeah, I just think of how that actually shreds your skin, and not just like needing a little bit of alcohol dabs like she gets.
Yeah.
He fell for her when she had to take her pants off from the barbed wire.
That was weird, right? Can we talk about that?
That's the only way she was snagging her pants and her flesh.
And I guess like they didn't have anything to like cover the rest of her. Do you know what I mean? Like no like towel to put over her.
Well, it's because she was getting her wounds dabbed.
No, I know
and
that.
then he brings her pants.
I wasn't saying that she should have pants on, but just like something to cover her underwear. Like just something to drape over her.
But then how would
he fall in love with her? I'm not sure.
How would Val realize that her ass also doesn't quit?
I don't know. That was just an awkward way for him to realize that, I suppose.
When she's just sitting there with her underwear on as he's dabbing.
There,
like, I can see that. Yeah.
Just like give her something to put over her.
Come on, Val.
Naked whatever. It was weird. It made me very uncomfortable. That like after he finished, they were like, "Here are pants.
Here are pants.
Oh, thank you.
You may now cover yourself."
And she was like, "Great, I'm gonna go in the bathroom to put these on." Like she left to put, even though she'd been sitting there pantsless for the whole time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's all right.
Yeah,
It
was fine.
Val, like I said, he just needed to realize that you don't need legs that go all the way up.
Yeah, just
to the hip.
to
the hip.
to where you would expect them to go.
Yeah. So Bert and Heather come back. They have the things come in the basement. Oh my God, it's my favorite scene in the entire movie,
Yes.
where the graboid busts through their wall and they start shooting with the two guns they have. You think that's it. It pans over. They have a wall of what seems like a limitless amount of guns. They just keep passing back and forth, blasting away at it until Reba McEntire, aka Heather, shoots it with a flare gun, and then Bert blasts it with the elephant gun twice, and it just explodes, and all this, again, great creature goo coming out. And then Bert has the most amazing line in the entire movie, number 6.
Broke into the wrong goddamn rec room, didn't you, you bastard?
Jeez.
It's so good.
I kind of feel like he should call this his gun room.
Technically he wrecked things with it. That's their recreation.
I suppose.
It's such a good line.
Their recreation is displaying guns.
They just
not
go,
just like using
It's
them.
like me in my movies.
Yeah.
Like I just display them. I just look at them. They just go down there and go, do what you do with guns. You polish them and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love that line. So you made a wrong rec room.
And you have Operation Dumbo Drop behind plastic, so that
Of course, it's a cinema classic.
yeah, it is.
Michael Gross, remind me, he's from Family Ties? Was he the dad on?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
what I thought. Yeah.
He definitely is, and was also a spokesperson with those commercials for Healthy Choice
Oh,
back on the telly.
There you go.
wow. Steve dropping the healthy choice knowledge. Look at that.
That's
I
not
love
on
it.
IMDb.
That is
Let me
not.
tell you,
that is something in your
that's
brain
off
only.
the noggin.
That's off the noggin. I love it. So then they go to the trail. They distract the graboids because they throw a bomb and it blows up, and they realize the sound is too loud when the bomb goes off. It scares them away. So they do that. It distracts them. They scare them off. Kevin Bacon makes a run for the tractor they're trying to get because it's like 8 tons or whatever they say, so they can't lift it. And he attaches the back to it. But before then, there's a great sequence where they catch up with him, and he has to just stand there. And there's this. I love the moment where he's dancing his 1 foot over the tentacle as it's like it hears him, and then he lifts it up, which obviously this thing could probably hear his heartbeat or his breathing and stuff like that. But it's such a fun moment to me.
That's such a great moment, but it is also paired with exactly what I was saying, where there's inconsistency in like what they hear, because not just like you can hear his, like he was just running, so like I'm sure his heart's beating pretty quickly, and like you can hear it in his feet, but whatever. Like separate and apart from that, the people on the roof have been yelling at him the whole time. Go, they're coming, be careful, at the exact same volume that they then yell to get the graboid's attention.
Yeah.
And the graboid is like, oh, what is that? And then starts going towards the people who have been screaming the entire time.
Maybe it was still in shock from the bomb?
I don't know.
I'm going to say
know.
that. I'm going to definitively say that.
Maybe.
Its
But
ears were ringing from the bomb.
They were drawn more specifically to a running Kevin Bacon than they were to
The yelling.
7 people screaming on top of a building.
Yeah. Well, maybe because they realized they were still on top of the building.
I guess so, yeah. I guess. But then there was no change in their volume to like lure it back.
Man, they were yelling as loud as they could.
I know.
I mean, there's only so loud you can yell.
There's only so far legs go up, and there's only so much volume you have in your body.
Only so much.
Yeah.
So, they run the decoy tractor. That's what they do. So they run the decoy tractor first.
Yeah.
That thing gets eaten and spit out. Or that thing falls over. It falls over. And that's such a great moment where they're like, it reminds me of like Jurassic Park later on where they're like, Ian, freeze! I love that moment. Oh my God. So then Rhonda kicks open the water and it floods the one graboid, and that's where I thought the water was going to come in and it was going to become like a super graboid or something. Ooh. I'm kind of glad it didn't. It's okay. They didn't need to. They haul off in the tractor, and Bert has a lament that we talked about earlier about his preparation.
Food for 5 years. 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration, Geiger counter, bomb shelter. Underground. Goddamn monsters.
good. I mean, come on. That's the lesson of this movie.
Yeah.
Is that Bert realizes, maybe, I haven't seen 2, 3, 4, and 5. 6, I think, too. But maybe at that moment he realized, hey, I've been spending my whole life planning for a disaster, and I haven't been living.
So true, man.
So true.
So true.
You could
gotta
plan
live.
for every disaster, but there's infinite disasters that
There
can
are
happen.
more disasters than you could ever imagine.
The only disaster you can really never return from
Tell me, Ben.
is the disaster of not living your life to the fullest in the moment.
How about that?
You like how I had to go to whatever. I went to the voice of Trey Parker in Team America.
Okay, yeah.
Like, listen, we're all. I can't say any of those words because this will be an explicit clip. But
Right.
when he does the whole,
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes you need D's to F this A.
Yeah.
And then you get your P and F's all covered in S. That made sense, right?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
If you've seen the movie.
But that's the voice I was doing.
Yeah.
Listen. So then the Tremors / graboids start attacking the tractor and basically like pulling the wheels underneath. Anytime they stop, they're screwed.
So what?
So-
So they like dug a trench. The
Yep.
graboids dug a trench and made them crash.
Oh, it's so great.
Because they're like driving up to the mountain. They're like,
like,
what
what-
are they doing over there? And he's like, doesn't matter as long as they're over there.
Yep.
And then it digs a trench and their tractor crashes.
So good.
And then they like start to pull the tractor down. And then they run up onto the one rock.
And they realize, well, we're going to starve out here within
Yeah.
4 days
Yeah.
or die of thirst, which again could have been another point where a movie nowadays I feel like would take 10 minutes of showing them on this rock. And this would be like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Which you don't need that. They just immediately figure it out. They immediately go, oh no, here we go. We'll, the first one, they lure it with the bomb. Oh, they do the fishing line.
Yeah.
And they lure it and it eats the bomb. But it eats it right at the time that a few seconds before the fuse goes off so that it doesn't have time to spit it up, blows it up,
Yep.
guts, and I love that the like orangish blood goof hits all of them.
Disgusting.
It's so great. It reminded me, like Starship Troopers, I feel like pays homage, maybe not intentionally, but a lot of the creature stuff reminded me of that. And then the second bomb, it spits it out and spits it back on the other bombs
Yep.
and blows all of them up.
Amazing accuracy by the
So
graboid.
good. So good. I think it was just chance. It was just crappy
I don't
luck.
think so. I give credit
You
to
think
the
so?
graboid.
All right,
who
yeah.
took note of where the bombs were being thrown
They
from.
are smart.
They're learning all the time.
They're like the velociraptors of underground slugs
Indeed.
of an unknown origin.
Yep.
You know, and
Of all of those.
of all, just those. So then Kevin Bacon gets the idea to run off, lure
So
the.
they exploded off the rock.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because they all run off
Yeah.
the rock. So they're all in the field already. They're off base.
Yep.
Basically, right? And so then they're basically, he has the last bomb in
Yep.
his hand, and they're like, throw the bomb to scare it so you can all run back on this rock.
And he's like, we're
And
just
he's
gonna be
like,
stuck here.
absolutely not, because we're just going to be stuck there. I have an idea.
Cuts the fuse.
Yep. And then he starts to make a break for it. And so everyone else is like, I guess
But he
we're
doesn't have a
running.
lighter. He doesn't have a lighter on him.
And so the woman has the lighter, and so she catches up with him. And they're sitting there, and what you think is going to happen is it's going to jump out of the ground,
and
he's going to shove it in the mouth, and it's going to explode right before it gets him.
Yeah.
But that's not at all what happens.
I think it's even better what
It's
happens.
way better.
It's way better.
Yeah.
Because he stops just short of the cliff, throws it near the end of the cliff so it blows up. Or no, throws it behind
Throws
the
it behind
creature
it.
so that the creature hurries up and slams off the cliff and then just... I rewound when the creature splats on the ground like 3 times because
Yeah.
it's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's just like... It's like a giant jelly donut being dropped off the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
And it just splatters everywhere. They've saved the day. They can go to Bigsby or Billingsby or Bixworth
any
and
of the B cities
Yeah.
in Nevada.
Baba Ganoush, and they can
Any perfection adjacent city.
yeah. And this is where Val and Rhonda, he's about to say bye. She's saying bye, and then Fred Ward gives him a little look like, "Come on, man." He's like, "I'm working on it," and he goes off, and they kiss, and the credits roll.
Yeah.
The end of a perfectly structured monster movie.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
the thing that I really loved about this, wow, we ended without like having to rush our outro. This
is the first time.
insane.
Yeah.
The thing I love about this movie is that it's funny, but it never got like campy, like too silly. It never gets like to the point where it's like too on the nose, too like, "Whoa!" Like everybody plays it as goofy as they play it. They're all still pretty grounded in a reality and in real performances without going like the highest emotion he gets is the what the hell is going on here?
I was going to say that's the closest moment to it being a cartoon, and the rest of it is like it's pretty like how would you react to a alien slug species?
And they establish these characters that we don't know a ton about them, but they're so clearly quirky and defined that I immediately liked all the characters and didn't want anybody to die. I didn't want any. That rarely happens in horror films. Usually I'm like, let's kill some of these protagonists. And in this one, I was like, I kind of like everybody. They're all, except Melvin and his dad. Like, Melvin's dad didn't do much to make me hate him, but Melvin was a jerk. I was hoping he was going to get his.
Yeah,
he didn't.
I feel like they were setting him up to be that a little bit. But yeah, like it was a great place to set it because there were only a couple people. Like sometimes it bothers me in movies where like there are clearly more people in the world, and like why are these the only ones affected?
And they established every rule why they couldn't get out, why they couldn't make contact.
Absolutely.
I wonder if a movie like this could happen now with cell phones. I feel like cell phones ruin most horror films.
Yeah,
nowadays.
I mean they addressed it a little bit with like we don't have any service or any reception or anything like that.
I mean, hell, I've gone on Mulholland and not had reception, so
I
guess that's all you have to do.
Right.
This was a blast. This movie was super fun.
A lot of fun. I just like in the small quibble that I would have with it is just in the beginning, like as most movies of the era, like it just the exposition was super heavy, and it was just like, okay, we got to get through this, and that was my mindset in it, was like, oh, we just got to get through this.
Introducing the characters,
through introducing the like relationship. Like I know you said you liked the banter, but it was very clear, like I could see it written on the page of like, we need fun banter here.
See, it didn't bother me at all because it was 16 minutes before the first kill. I timed it.
Listen, and like I said, it was a very, very small quibble, and it was just like, in my mind, let's get through it, and it wasn't like, this, because I could feel the energy and the momentum of the movie, and I was ready for it.
So thanks for watching. Thanks for suggesting this, multiple fans. Let us know what other Tremors movies we should check out, if any of them are worth watching. I know Tremors 2 I'm going to have to watch now. Also, give us some suggestions for the following weeks. The coming weeks, we have a growing list, so we do add your suggestions to our list, and then it's like a little roulette wheel where we choose it each week.
And I will say we also have a separate list. If you have any other like DJ sounds you want Ben to make, please let me know, and I will relay that to Ben.
Cool. Just let Jesse know. He fields all those requests,
because I don't like for him to prepare those things.
No. So until next time, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Too Much Jesse, and for sketch at The Prom Losers.
You can find me at the Ben Begley on Twitter and Instagram, and you can also find this cool short film I did that's a super dark comedy called Rubes, R-U-B-E-S. Look it up on Vimeo. It's one of the staff picks, and I play a gleeful psychotic murdering people with a Rube Goldberg machine.
Oh, nice.
So it's if that doesn't get you in the door for a 5-minute short, I don't know what will. Until next time, what is your guilty movie pleasure?
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.